Hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Today is Thursday. It's going to be the last stream until Wednesday of next week. Well, no, sorry, last day of streams until Wednesday of next week. So let's get everything all set on the schedule. This is the stuff I'm going to be doing today. And let's edit today. Adam is going to continue learning Godot networking / multiplayer. He's going to be mentoring Peter today at a stream uptime of about 2 hours. And let me just make sure that's correct. I see 3D extended here now. Hello. Let's see. 11 a.m. Yeah, and it's 9 a.m. Yeah, so about 2 hours from now, which is roughly 2 hours after the stream starts, of course. Yeah, and I need to update the command before that. And so that means we have until probably about an hour and 45 minutes from now. So I'm going to say attention. Why is this not working? Attention. Make sure to prep for mentoring at around 10:40 or 10:45. Yeah, I think either of those times should be fine. Get my phone out of my pocket. Dio, thanks for resubbing. Welcome back. Yeah, so now we need to do the annoying thing of going and getting my live chat link, which changes every single time. Here it is. So silly that this even has to be done. There we go. And then this, welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. Like, how do you get this to go away? This shows up every time I load up YouTube live streams. Oh, well, anyway, what do we have here? So judging, we already got done with. Mentoring is on the list. Push for plus points. I'll just push for next week. So we'll say Tuesday is going to be, oh wait, no, Wednesday. Wednesday is going to be tenant review. Yeah, Friday and Monday are off. Taking a day off. And same thing with Monday. All right. Cool. All right. I think we're good. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay, cool. Well, how's everybody doing this morning? Sure, their extensions are custom CSS made to hide that box. Yeah, there might be. I think that's my most minor concern that I have about all of this. I think the more apparent one to me is that this link keeps changing because the video keeps changing. And I'd love there to just be one that always points at the current live stream. There's got to be a way to do that. Yeah, unknown. Yeah, I hope everyone's well. What we've been doing, and I'll show this really quickly here. So multiplayer from scratch. This is what we worked on yesterday, and it is not impressive. It is literally just host and join buttons. There's no game after this. This is the entirety of what we worked on. You can click host. There's no indication here that it even hosted. You have to look at the console, and you can click join, and it says that you joined. So now they're connected together and they can do things. And that's it. Like I said, not impressive. That took whatever, like 5-6 hours of learning stuff. But more importantly, what really happened here is I got notes out of all of this. That was the bulk of the work here. And if you look at, these aren't online yet, but if you look at some of these, I modified a decent amount of the notes. But this multiplayer one is entirely new. So we're just going to pick up where we left off, and let's go get started. Let's put this over here and this over here. Okay, so put what I'm doing on GitHub, link to it from notes. I want to have comments all in one spot. I think it's better to just have notes for this. I think this code is garbage, and I'm not trying to be critical of it. It's just it's not doing anything, right? It's not all that interesting. So as long as there are comments for everything, I think we're good. Okay. So test having a client call a function on another client. I did that. Test what happens during a timeout. Maybe specify a bad port. Yeah, let's go try that out. So if I do specify a bad port, let's say, how would I even do this? here, create server on this port, but then create the client on a different port. That way, because otherwise I need to make an input or something like that. I don't want to do that. And I want to see what happens when we time out and how long it takes to time out. Hey, Minkler. Okay, so we click host over here. And then we click join. There's no way this can possibly work because it's not trying to connect to the right port. It says joining the server. It should hit, okay, so if I'm not mistaken, it should hit on connected fail. What does that do? Connecting to the server failed, setting the peer to null. Yeah, so that's what should print out. I don't know how long it's going to take. It hasn't done it yet. And it might take 60 seconds or something. I'm not actually sure what the timeout is set to. I think I looked into this a while ago. Oh, there it is. Connecting to the server failed. I don't know how long that was exactly, but it was more than 30 seconds. So yeah, maybe it was about a minute. Maybe it was 30, maybe it was 45, something like that. Anyway, it's not a short amount of time. And I don't know if you can change that value. Godot, what's this function called? This is on connect. And we try to connect over here, create client. If error, return error. Yeah, so Godot, create client, timeout. Did they have anything here about this? Timeout, timeout, no. Maybe we just search for create client. Methods. There it is. Okay, create client that connects to the server address using specified port. Given address needs to be either a fully qualified domain name or an IP address. Port is the port. Yep. Channel count parameter can be used to specify the number of ENET channels allocated. In bandwidth and out bandwidth can limit bandwidth. Default of 0 means unlimited. Strategically drop packets on specific sides of a connection between peers to ensure the peer's bandwidth is not overwhelmed. Bandwidth parameters also determine the window size of a connection. Returns okay if it was created. Error already in use. Or error can't create. This does not specify anything about a timeout. Hey Josh, hey Chippy. Where do we find out about the timeout then? Maybe it's not a Godot thing. Maybe it's an ENET thing, and maybe it's an operating system thing. Service timeout. What is that? Waits for events on host specified and shuttles packets between host and his peers. I'm not sure if this is even what I want. Godot, networking. I can't find information on this. Server disconnects client due to timeout caused. I just want to find where you can customize this timeout. Huh. I don't know. Okay, well, we have a here. There was a way to get the host, I think. Code, Godot, basics of multiplayer. Somewhere in here, I think I do this. RG host. Yeah, peer.getHost. What does that even do? Get host. Hey, Shane. Welcome on in. I want type information for this. Okay, let's see. It's an ENET multiplayer peer. I guess we can just go into Godot and press F1. Does F1 not do anything? Oh, come on. There's some like documentation you can search through. I guess online documentation. I guess this is pretty much the same. Fine. Well, there's a host here. What is the host? Wait, what? ENET multiplayer peer.new. And we get a peer from that, and then peer should have get host. Oh, maybe it's on create client. Yeah, what does this return? Returns an error. Oh, the peer knows how to create it, and it's some internal thing. Inherits multiplayer peer. Maybe this has get host. I don't know where this is. All right, well, maybe I just give up on this for now. It's not super important. I just like having notes about this stuff. And it might be one of these. I mean, they have eNet connection. I just don't see the get host thing. Does this have anything about a timeout? It just has service. And service returns an array. I don't know what this even does. Waits for events on the host. Yeah. I don't think this is correct. Okay. Hey, Prez. Well, I think we will just skip this then. Hey, yo. Yeah, I think we'll just skip this then. Like I said, it's not too important. I just want to figure out, could you specify a timeout? Waiting 30 or 60 seconds for something to fail is not fun. But what you could always do is you could start another thread with a timer. And if you haven't connected in that time, just treat it as a timeout. So maybe what I'll do is I'll just write in my notes for now that I don't know how to do this better. I couldn't figure out how. Actually, is it even the multiplayer thing? It's eNet multiplayer peer. I'll put this here. Misc notes. Couldn't figure out how to set a timeout on create client. All I know is that after some amount of time, seems like greater than 30 seconds, it will hit on connection failed. Okay. I assume I could just start a timer on another thread and check for a connection if I need to adjust the timeout. This is the kind of thing where adjusting the timeout is not something you probably ever care about for prototyping. Like if it fails to connect within 5 seconds, then something's wrong. In a real game, you would care about it because you don't know what's going to be wrong. But yeah, for prototyping, really doesn't matter. So fine. Okay, use this information to make a multiplayer environment. So I did that. Try getting to work through the web. Okay, we haven't done that yet. So yeah, we need to make a... Let's change this around. So I'm going to make a host button for myself. I guess technically anyone could try hosting this. We might as well just keep it somewhere. And maybe we make address. So it told us changes to make allow address to be customized. Oh, let's go undo the thing about port +1. That'll probably confuse me if I don't remember to do that. There, yeah. Okay, allow address to be customized, allow, and then I guess show names of people who are connected. And that's it. Those are the changes we make. Then we put this online. Let's go do that. So allow address to be customized. Test this with the web export. And then make sure, put this online with a tunnel. Hey, Ryder. Welcome to the stream. Good afternoon to you. All right, so allow address to be customized. This is pretty easy. We're going to close out of this. So we have your name here. We're going to copy this, duplicate, and we're going to rename it to address input, and then put this down here. This is the address to connect to. So I guess we'll put a host. It's going to look really stupid, but whatever. All right. Now this is going to be address to connect, or URL/IP, domain/IP, address. We'll just say address. Okay. And for most people, this is probably going to just be set to whatever I had, godot.bot.land. And then, so the join button is still here. That's fine. There'll be a host button. And then we need a list of the names who've connected. So we could change us to another scene in that case. I don't really want to do too much here, though. So let's just keep this simple. Let's do these things. And then just throw a new, I don't know, something that just has text. Rich text label. I think this can have new lines. Although label itself can probably just have new lines. It doesn't need to be a rich text label. Yeah, let's just do that. Why is it frozen? Was searching through the list too much? Okay, no, come on. You can do it. There we go. Okay, so we put this down here and expand this and just say names will go here. And this should be scrollable. Maybe. Do I care about that? I don't care about that. As long as we can see a few names, I think it's fine. In fact, how about this? Let's do one of these. We'll relay out our UI. Well, I'm glad I didn't put a lot of time into this. There. It's beautiful. So bad. It's the worst UI I've ever seen. Okay. So if I just play this now, we should see, yep, cool, names are there. And can I expand this to make it bigger? No. All right, that I'm also going to change because I want this to be visible to people. It's not super important, but it's important enough. So display window, we set mode to viewport and aspect to keep. Cool, we go. Is the lighting different today? Oh, it is slightly different. I did not turn on a particular light. Let me do that. There we go. Is that more normal? Because I think that should all be the same. Okay, yeah. Good eye, Toulouse. All right. Hard to tell. It looks a little different, yeah. Okay, let's get back to this. So this will be the name list. Name list. And it's just a label. All right, so here's what we got to go customize. So allow address to be customized. That's the first part. We are going to search for whatever it's called, default server IP. Here it is. And we're going to say address equals default server IP if server address.text equals that. Yeah. Okay. And then we just change this to address input. Well, that's pretty good. Then we specify the address here. All right, so let's try that out. So I don't do anything. I hit host over here and join over here. It works. Great. Now let's try that again. And this time I'm going to say localhost. That's not how this works. I got to host over here now and then join over here. Okay, good. That worked. And now we're going to try an address that won't work. So host over here, although that doesn't matter because I'm not going to connect to it, and type 1.2.3.4 over here. Yeah, so it just says joining. So there's no way to get feedback on whether we connected or what the error is. So we probably need some sort of like output here that's going to tell us that. Yeah, that would probably be good to have. Yeah, we'll just put like a status label or something. So duplicate this, call this status label, and then move it. Do this. Status goes here. All right. There. So now setting the status label, we're going to make a log function that takes in some text and is going to print the text. And then it's also going to set the status label.text equal to that text. Then we're going to replace every single print call we have with log, except for this one, which is still going to be print. So now any errors should show directly in here. Let's try that again. Argument 1 should be float, but is string at line 46. Is float. What? It's not a float. What? Did I mess something up here? Print text, status label.text equals text. Is that what I called that? Yeah. All right, let me just try that again. Well, I don't see what would have been wrong here. It doesn't even have a, strange. Can I open this? UI is already better than some AAA titles. I beg to differ. It's in lobby.gd, not host. I mean, this is lobby.gd though. This is line 46. The log call. Thinks log is oh. I'm shadowing. Okay, I did not realize that. Thank you as an element. That would have taken me some time to figure out. So I much appreciate it. There's a point. We will change the name of this from log to log string. Yeah, and actually now that I do that, I realize that there's slightly different syntax highlighting. This is a different color than this. You see that? But I never would have noticed that. Oh man. Okay, so that should fix it, I hope. All right, invalid set index text on base label with value type int. Oh, because sometimes we're logging. Okay, so this should just be turned into a string no matter what. So text equals stir text. All right, I think that should fix it. I didn't check all my log calls. There we go. Okay, so now it's logging 0, which I think is the error that I have printing from here. Yes, that's why. Okay, but now let's see what happens. So I'm going to hit host, press host. I press join over here. It says registering player. So this is only a single line output, but it's enough for you to know that there was an error or not. So if I try connecting to an address like 1.2.3.4 and hit join here, it says joining the server, and then it'll eventually say that it failed. And here it says disconnected. So this is not supposed to be perfect. This is just for testing. I think that should be blindingly obvious by how sucky everything looks. But now we can go do the second part of this. So allow address to be customized and then show names of people who are connected. So this is anytime somebody joins, we're going to say func add player. And let's do this. And then we will set the entirety. So to do set, what's that thing called? What did I call it? Name list. Name list.text to the list of players. Okay, and actually we could probably just have this do this for us. Name list.text. I don't know if that's going to work. We can test this. And then anytime we call this, we need to call add player. Server ID, form player info. Good. And then we must do this somewhere else as well. Players.erase. This is only adding. I should probably have this be remove as well. New player ID, new player info. That looks good. Anywhere else? Players.clear. Okay, fine. So now we'll say update player list. And then make a function. And then call this function after doing anything that erases or clears the list. Good. All right, let's go try that out. And then we can put this online and we can see if it works. Does look perfect. Thank you. Okay, so we click host and we get our name. And then, whoops. Then we click join. And that's not how I want it to look. So we need this to look a little bit different. So we're gonna need to form the list of players correctly. We have a dictionary in Python. How do you, or it's not Python. GD script get values in dictionary. Is there like some values thing that we can just fetch? Or do we have to iterate over it? Values, there it is. It's an array. Okay, so var players equals players dot, oh wait, players array equals players dot values. So here are all the different players. Now we iterate over these. Hey, James. For player, we are going to form a string here. Player string, I guess, equals this. Okay, now player string plus equal. These are just values, right? Wait, no. It printed out what it was. And it was, the values have name in them. Yeah, so it is Then we set this to player string. Good. Okay. I think that'll work. So we click host. We see Jeffrey. We click. Oh my God, I keep doing that. I'm clicking too far away from the screen. All right. So this one knows that both players are there. This one doesn't. I guess because it never gets the other player's name. So I'm clicking join, and what's happening here? We get on player connected on the server, and then we call into register player on the other client. And this calls add player, form player info, registering player ID. So we should see registering player 1. Yeah, this, Jeffrey. What's printing out over here? Oh, both have Jeffrey, not both have David. Okay, so when you connect, we should register our own player in that list, I guess. Yeah, I guess so. Register my own player info. Except for this is only if we're not the server. If not multiplayer.is server. What language is this? This is GDScript. There we go. Welcome to the stream, Asilo. Hey, Amber. Caption for, what was it? Register my own player info. So this is going to be add player. And it's my ID in my player info. I think that'll work. So we click host over here. We get Carol. We click join over here. We don't get Bob. Why is that happening? Oh, this is a function. Yeah, function call. It's just that 4 lines of captions. Is everybody watching with captions on now? I feel like I probably should have done this sooner. Okay, there, it works. All right, now what happens if I leave? Yeah, it cleared it out over here. And then what happens if I have, let's say, 4 different instances? So I want to test out a few things. So we're going to have to arrange these very carefully. I want the upper left one to be the host. And there's no indication that that's going to be the case. Where'd the 4th window go? There it is. Okay, upper left one's going to be the host. So that's David. And then we join as Bob. And then we join as Joey. And then we join as Jeffrey. So all 4 of them should have the same names. They're in different orders. That part's fine. And now if I disconnect on Joey, for example, Joey drops out of the 3 lists over here. I don't know how to open a new instance to try connecting again, but yeah. Okay, cool. That's good. Yeah. Always watch everything with captions. Do you find that the captions are helping? Is the caption done server side or on the browser? It's done server side. So I am generating the captions with a plugin called Local Vocal. And that's what I'm using to do all the voice command stuff that I have. So for example, if I said check out the Local Vocal command, it detects that I said that and then puts the command into chat. So that's doing that based on the caption data. Okay, so we got both of these things working. Now we need to put this online. Helps so much. Okay, cool. Yeah. Wow, I'm sorry I didn't do them before. I really feel like this could have helped out. And I didn't realize how easy it would be to do. In fact, I didn't really mean to do it. Struggling to get this working with WSS and using SSL certs on a free Oracle server. Will you be going through that? I don't think I'll be going through that exactly, but I wrote something about this somewhere in my notes. Let me see if I can find this for you. Notes pub RGI WebSocket. Is it this one? Yeah, okay. I wrote some code for this that I think I might be able to show you. I mean, this is public, but I just don't know where it is. It's a question of whether I can find it. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so yeah, WebSocket server. I set up a new WebSocket server. I give it a port. And then somehow I configured this to use a certificate. I don't see anything there about this. Yeah. Well, anyway, I'll link this in, although this is probably not going to be all that helpful, Southpaw. But, and I do have some notes. If you go take a look, I'll just, I guess, say this. Check out the notes command. It should paste it in the chat for you. Yeah, there we go. Those notes, you can look through them and see if there's anything here. I know I have something here about, oh, this note is a little bit broken, huh? WebSocket. What is this note called? Let's encrypt. Yeah, this. Yeah, this was intended to be a script. So something like this, I guess. Oh, this looks ugly. There we go. So I was trying to do. Don't know if I was adding them wrong on the server client or what. It shouldn't be too bad to do. And if you're using Let's Encrypt, definitely do take a look at this note. Although, like I said, the formatting is a little bit wrong. But yeah, I remember running into some issues with this. This was, I think, last year that I was doing this stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I would say to check that out. Although I don't remember what I did with the certificates there. Easily use these to start a server even for WebSockets, even this example. I think they talk about it in here. Yeah, they do. And they probably have a cert file that you can get. Yep. Well, why didn't I need this then? I'm pretty sure I ended up doing something like this myself. Yeah, I don't see anything about cert in here. Huh, weird. I don't know. Well, yeah. Yeah, good luck. Yeah. And I mean, I'm going to set this up online too, and I'm not sure how it's going to work. Maybe we'll run into an issue as well. All right, so put this online is all we need to do now. So I wrote my notes about hosting it yesterday. Let's go take a look at my hosting thing. That is not here. Godot exports. Yeah, here. This image should be made like way smaller. There we go. All right, web export and hosting it. So I wrote about hosting it with a tunnel. We need to host technically two things here. Yeah, this might be a little bit challenging. How about this? Let's start by getting the game hosted online. And I'll do that through the shared host. That way I don't have to deal with a tunnel. I'm looking what today? I don't fire. Okay. I don't know what that word is. Oh, it's not a word. It's a Pokemon? It's a Spanish name for a Pokemon? I'm not familiar with anything beyond like Gen 1. Do I play viewer games? No, I don't. The closest I'll probably ever come to doing something like that will be if I do a game jam, and then it would just be games that were made for the jam. Well, I was just trying to interpret what that meant. Oh, also, sorry, I had missed this. I don't know if Alexios ended up coming into Twitch as a result of this. Yeah, because someone did end up asking what language is this. Anyway, yeah, sorry. I don't know if this person is still here, but it's GDScript. Sorry for the delayed response. All right. So yeah, I need to go to FileZilla and host this online. So let's go through these steps that I have. I mean, it should be pretty simple. So we need to go export this, go to export. I don't have any export set up, so add one for web. Export path is going to be, I guess we need to make a folder here, out. And we're going to save it here as, I guess, just index. Should just make it easier to host that way. All right, so save there and export. Okay. cool. How's multicasting going? I mean, other than missing messages every once in a while, I think it's going pretty well. I think, I was just talking to Toulouse about this over Discord a little bit, but if it pulls in really anybody who otherwise wouldn't have found the stream, then I think it's a benefit. It's a Blissey doing flamethrower, I see. But it's doing flamethrower in Spanish. The Spanish flamethrower. I see. All right, maybe, thank you. All right, we're gonna go upload this. So let's go find out where this code even is. Code Godot multiplayer from scratch out. All right, so everything's in here. I'm gonna put this online. You can't show platforms chats. Could be seen to directing other platforms. It says something about merging chats on screen. I'm not super. Ooh, what was that? Hang on a second. There's something sharp on my chair. I just like. What was that? Okay, yeah. It said something about merging chats on screen, and I'm not doing that. I was just showing the YouTube one. I don't think that's going to be a problem, but if that is a problem, I mean, they basically have completely impractical rules for simulcasting. But anyway, that's my interpretation of it. Yeah, maybe it was a cat claw or something. I'm not sure, but I couldn't find it. Okay, so this should be online. Not that it'll work yet, because I don't have the rest of it online. Oh, right, and this stupid thing. Let's go copy paste this into an htaccess file. htaccess. And then we need to go put this online. Finder. All right. There. Okay, so that should fix that problem. Although there's nothing to connect to yet. Yeah, good. So here's the here's the wonderful UI that I have. All right, so how would I test this out? Could I actually, if I launch an oops, it's gonna drive me nuts. 2 versions of Godot. Okay, so if I run one instance of this over here, can I connect from my browser, I wonder? Okay, let's see. So we're gonna host here, and we're gonna try joining here. Connecting to server failed. 127.0.0.1. Join. Why wouldn't this work? Oh, because this is on. No, wait, no. What is going on here? What is the networking stack like this? Looks like Windows Mobile UI. Windows Mobile UI is actually pretty good, I'd say. I think it has to do with the address I'm listening on. Let's go find out. There's default server IP. And we should be using this in 2 different places, right? No, we're not. I guess you don't create a server on an address. It could be CORS preventing it, yeah. Anyway, we can bypass this anyway. So, and we need to, because if I want people to connect to me, I need to specify, I need to allow tunneling. The problem is I'm not sure how to set this up, because in reading those Godot documents about multiplayer, they said that this is, I think it's all built on UDP. And they even do reliable things just through UDP. Is that correct? You must forward the port in UDP. Yep. Okay, cool. Yeah, and that's probably worth writing down somewhere. All right, multiplayer. All networking is, or all high-level networking is done over UDP, i.e. they implement their own reliability by resending packets when needed. Okay, so now we go set up the tunnel. I'm gonna go do this off screen. Give me a sec. Log in, click the page that's always super hard to find. There it is. Then click this and this and this and this. All right, name your tunnel. So we're going to say Godot web game again. Save tunnel. Okay, now install the connector. Engage privacy mode. I need privacy mode for this because this command that they give you is very, very secret. Okay, give me a sec. Try again. Okay, that worked. Now we got to go delete that from the history. Got to be a better way to do this in the future. Okay, that's done. Now I go back to regular mode and we say next. And I set this up for godot.bot.land. All right, now type is going to be UDP. Oh, you can't do that? Oh, what? Cloudflare tunnel UDP. Do not support UDP for public host names. You can only use it with private networks. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, indeed. I did not know this. Uh-oh. Could you insert some specific line when you engage privacy mode and on exiting, clear everything up to that line? That could be done, yeah. Oh, whoops. Okay. That's not starting the game, but you're the first person to get me to have said a phrase that I didn't mean to say. Oh, man. Yeah, so I'm not really sure what to do about this then. I was kind of hoping that I could rely on tunneling here. Huh. All right, well, what are our options, I guess? Can't use tunneling for UDP. This kind of breaks everything I'd been planning on. Convert to WebSockets. Minimal client example. Yeah, okay, that's definitely an option. Option number 1, convert to WebSockets. What are the other things that they allow? WebSockets, WebRTC. What is WebRTC's protocol? It's built on. Yeah, anyway, yeah, WebSocket is probably a good idea. Yeah, Tailscale is something that might be able to help here. Feature allows you to route traffic from the wider internet to a local service. I wonder why Cloudflare doesn't allow for UDP though. Like, does Tailscale? Because this says TCP proxy, so I don't think this would work either, actually. Did I understand correctly? You cannot send UDP to your domain? Yeah, so what I was originally planning on doing, original plan was tunnel through Cloudflare, or tunnel UDP through Cloudflare. But yeah, that's not supported. So option number 1, convert to WebSockets. Option number 2 would be like set up a VM in the cloud somewhere. And I mean, that's option number 3 is expose public IP address. Same with Tailscale, NVM. What does NVM mean there? I know it is Node Version Manager. Does Godot game networking support TCP? Not the high level networking. So their low level networking, you can do whatever you want, but their high level one only uses UDP. And this is something I need to put a link to over here. Never mind. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so I think this is probably the best idea. Yeah. So let's switch to this. Let's give Yo a point. All right, so now it's convert to WebSockets. Maybe do something like Dinu DNS. Random domain. Yeah, that might be a good fourth option. Some dynamic DNS service. And forwarding ports on my firewall. Oh, wait a second. Wait. Yeah, that'll point to my yeah. What am I talking about? Yeah, no. It would just be option number 3. Yeah. I realized that as Vatuti was saying it. Yeah, anyway, option number 1 sounds fine. And if this doesn't work for whatever reason, first of all, I'd be surprised because, I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't work. It's supported. But then maybe we could try WebRTC or something. I'm not sure. If this doesn't work, then maybe try WebRTC. And if it does work, then make sure to write notes about everything. Yeah. All right, convert to WebSockets. So how do we do this? Where did the link even go? Here we go. Here it is. Use to point it to your HomeLab VPN, and it had to have proxies at default. When it's set to true, the UDP stuff has a stroke. Yeah. I wonder why, though. I don't exactly understand what wouldn't work about that. Like, I get Cloudflare doesn't support it, but why don't they support it? Is it like it's just too technically difficult? It's impossible? It's some other issue I'm not thinking of? I'm not a networking expert, so I can't think of it off the top of my head. All right, this example will show you how to create a WebSocket connection to a remote server and how to send and receive data. So something interesting here is that I might want to test differently from how I publish. And we might need a layer of abstraction to just be able to handle all these things. Minimal server example. More advanced chat demo, which optionally uses the multiplayer mid-level abstraction and a high-level multiplayer demo. Okay, we could technically just take their demo projects and host one of these maybe. I think that'd be faster, but I'd probably learn less doing it. And this is about learning, so I guess we should just do it manually. Oh, harder rate limit. Interesting. Okay. So this is for hosting. Where did I even write this down? Export Godot. Yeah. So when setting up the tunnel, so note that you cannot forward UDP through Cloudflare tunnels. So you can't use this to host a server. Well, that uses, I'll just write this in the multiplayer note. They have a note on it over here. Do they mention UDP? Spectrum for all TCP and UDP ports is only available on the enterprise plan. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, let's put this in the multiplayer notes somewhere. So multiplayer API, and we'll just say hosting a multiplayer server. So note that Cloudflare tunnels do not support UDP traffic. And we can look that up and find that thing that was here. Yeah. Yeah, and then just link to this thing. Okay. So they do not support UDP traffic, which means the best option is to, well, it means your options for hosting a server are, and then pretty much the options we had here, right? I guess let's just put the bullet points over here because it's easier. Yeah. So in the convert to WebSockets thing is going to be this. Set up a VM in the cloud somewhere and expose your public IP address. Yeah. Proxies are totally different from their tunnel service. Yeah, I guess a proxy is just supposed to forward all traffic. And their tunnel service, I guess, requires something running on the target machine. And can also, yeah. What is this? Secure socket funneling is a network tool and toolkit. Simple and efficient ways to forward data from multiple sockets through a single secure TLS link to a remote computer. Is the idea here that I host something on my, hang on, let me draw out a little thing here. So we have the game running on like viewers' machines. And then this contacts Cloudflare tunnel, which tunnels to my machine, which is then this bit here, SSF, which then funnels to Godot. Is that the idea? I think that's the idea. Tunnel is something like rat hole. Lightweight high performance reverse proxy for NAT traversal. It replaces the tunnel. Oh, okay. I think I'm still gonna probably go with WebSockets. Because eventually, what would even, I don't know. Yeah. I am kind of curious about this though. Like how. Huh. I guess I don't totally follow how this would work in the same way that the tunnel would work that I want. Well, anyway, I'll write these down as some ideas if the WebSocket thing doesn't work out, I guess. Yeah, so I'll put this down and I'll put rat hole down. This would replace the Cloudflare tunnel. If there's something that's not free, I'm probably not going to look into it for this, only because I think there are some free solutions I can use. And we can at least try those out. Sorry, my space key was double typing, so I was trying to fix this. Why won't this go back in? There we go. Where am I thinking of implementing this? When you say where, what do you mean exactly? So there's the client and there's the server. And this is all just for the sake of prototyping and learning. So there is no game, just to be clear. So it's not like, okay, I'm making a platformer and I want this to be online. And so I'm going to distribute the client through Steam and the server is going to be running on, AWS. This is just for the sake of learning. And so the client is just going to be probably on my shared host and the server is just going to be my computer, but ideally behind a tunnel or something. And that's the part we're trying to figure out now. And so what we could do is we could have WebSockets tunneled through Cloudflare and then pointing at this machine. You host that on Linode, then forward it to your local machine. That way you don't have to deal with redeploying the thing. Okay, So I think I understand. And I think that's why I drew out this thing here, because I could cut out the Linode instance by having it run on my local machine and forward to another thing on my local machine. Oh yeah, I might, Voffy, I might eventually use it, but if I use it, it'll be for a game that I haven't designed yet. So depending on the design of the game, it could be something where like, okay, I only expect there to be, let's say 50 players and it still just runs on my machine, or I expect there to be, 500 games running at a time, in which case I need some sort of like scalable cloud infrastructure. Okay, I think we're just gonna go with the WebSocket thing for now. But looking into these in the future could potentially work. Also, I don't think we're gonna have enough time to do the WebSocket stuff before the mentoring session. So it's almost break time. And then I'll stream for another like 30 minutes, and then it's prep time, and then mentoring, and then lunch, and then 3 hours of learning again. So we got another maybe 30 minutes before we got maybe 2 hours in between us and continuing this. So should I start a new project entirely for this? I feel like I should. Or maybe just duplicate what I have. Or maybe just take their demo project. Yeah, I think just taking their demo project is the fastest way. And then if this turns out that it works fine, then I'll test this out. Okay, so try a demo WebSocket project. Yeah. So, all right, what is this? Each folder containing a project.godot file is a demo project meant to be used with Godot engine, the open source engine. This is compatible with the next 4.x release. I don't know what next 4.x release means. 4.2 maybe? Importing demos, clone the repo, open the project manager, then just choose the folder. All demos should now appear. Try it in your browser. Most are exported to GitHub pages. They can be viewed here. Oh, there are a lot of these. Oh, I thought this was just a chat thing. Where's the chat thing? You can't find it just by searching for chat. This thing said advanced chat demo, a more advanced chat demo under networking / WebSocket chat and networking / WebSocket multiplayer. But searching for WebSocket doesn't actually show it. It must just be in their source then. Okay, well, it's in networking, so let's go take a look there. And WebSocket chat and multiplayer. All right, what is this one? Sample showing how they use WebSockets along with the multiplayer API. GDScript, check out the demo in the asset library. What? Okay. So we have a host, we have a connection thing, a name you can type, and then apparently some way to roll, yeah, do action. Okay, yeah, I think this is what we should test out. Doesn't this mean it supports UDP? So what Fohammer said about how zero trust is not equal to this stuff, there's a whole bunch of things in zero trust. There's gateway, there's access, there's networks, there's some other stuff, and under networks there's tunnels. So it's possible that there's some other stuff that they're talking about here. Yeah. Yeah, so all right, I'll take a break and we'll try this out over here. We got to load up maybe this one. Oh, hey. Just want to say thanks for your content. Please continue on. As an industry newbie, I find your content puts things in perspective. Well, thanks, Killazone. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the kind words. And yeah, I hope to be able to help with this. I'm going to take a break. For those watching on YouTube, I will link to Twitch if you want to play this game that we're about to play. Each person needs an account in your Zero Trust org to access the service. Yeah. All right. All right. So here we go. Is it jump time? I'll be back. It's jump time. Hey, everybody. All right. Well, close the game. So let's see if we can try out this demo project. I think, yeah, we have a project here. I think we should just be able to just use this directly. Although, wait a second. Let's look through this for a bit. There's game, there's main, there's combo. What are these things? Because one of these should be a server and one of them should be a, ooh, wait a sec, what? Oh, they just make a peer using WebSocket multiplayer peer? Is that what the documentation had too? WebSocket multiplayer peer? No. What? WebSocket protocol was standardized in 2011. Message-based, simplicity. Implemented via WebSocket peer. Why doesn't this use the WebSocket peer? I guess I do WebSocket client dot new, but this one doesn't, right? Socket multiplayer peer, interesting. That might make things a lot easier. Okay. Let's press. Also, they do some things that I didn't do here that are probably a good idea. Like set this to null beforehand, just in case you fail to host, I guess. No, they don't check for an error though. Yeah, I don't know. All right, let's download this. Yeah, let's download it. So go to temp, git clone, git demo projects. What is this gigantic repo? Okay, well, I didn't know it was that big. Networking. We want to go to the WebSocket multiplayer. Multiplayer. Okay, so this is the thing that I want. Let's load this up. So git cd, and then we'll stop this. We'll go back to the project list, and we'll import. Can I do this? Yes, I can. Import and edit. So what are we looking at? They spawn. Interesting. I never even thought about this. They spawn 4 instances of their game in one, essentially. Instead of just doing debug run multiple instances. I wonder if this became a feature after they made this thing. Huh. Okay, so if I run this, can I expand this? Yeah. Ooh, well, it doesn't really increase in scale. It just makes some widgets a little bigger, but just have more space. Okay, well, let's do this. So name Adam host. So I'm hosting. Now I connect as Adam2, and I say do action. Oh, I see. The little icon indicates whose turn it is. And this is just about... Well, that's interesting. The host doesn't actually see the action show up over here. What if Adam3 connects? So now Adam's turn. Yeah, interesting. The host doesn't even see this information. That seems like a little bit of an oversight here. Okay, well, this is what we're going to put online. Disconnect. This still works, right? Yeah. All right. So let's export this. Add web. Export path. Out. A lot of random freezes here. Or hangs. Yeah, like this. I'm just creating a folder. All right, I guess we wait. Oh, come on, for real? Why is it taking so long? Did it just freeze making a folder? Will it output the host IP somewhere on the interface? I don't think so. What is happening here? I seriously have to force quit Godot? Man. Yeah, weird. Well, let's try that again. Whoa. You put tags in your projects like this? I didn't even know that was a thing. Wow. How large was it? The folder? I was just trying to create a folder. I wasn't even doing anything yet. It was literally just create folder. I clicked here and then I clicked create folder and I type out. When it, yep, see, it froze once and okay, that time it worked. right, we say this is indexed. Oh, it really does not like me typing into this dialogue. And I don't even know, like, this isn't different from what I did earlier. It's the same version of Godot. Yeah, wow. I guess we should avoid this. All right, this is not supposed to be the hard part. I don't, nope, did it work? Is it going to type something? The cursor changed to this one. I don't know what's going on. Oh, man. Oh, it typed it in. Okay, we can just hit save. Oh, look at that. It worked. Export project. Save. There, that was done. That was easy. Is it using that much? Yeah, it might be. Let's look at activity monitor. What is going on here? The webcam froze. Can't believe this. Was it OBS for that time? It says Godot not, or sorry, was it Godot for that time? It says Godot's not responding and using a ton of CPU. Oh wait, no, that's one CPU. Never mind. 60% of one. What about memory? Memory is not bad. Huh. These experiences are the real day in the life. It is, but it's just so bizarre. Like, what is causing this to happen? I wonder if it's something to do with the scene that's showing in the background. I guess I'm just going to quit out of this again. Plus, didn't it export already? Yeah, it did. I don't know. Let's quit this again. Just never launch that. All right. So now we want to put this online. Let me go delete everything that's already in the out folder except for htaccess. Oh, please tell me that didn't just delete a bunch of other stuff. Okay, thank goodness. Really delete 9 files from the server. Yes. Okay, so now open this up and take everything in out over here and put this online. There we go. Ooh, that's a beefy file upload. What is it uploading? I don't know which file it is that hasn't been put online yet, but one of these is large. This is 49 megabytes. Okay, well, it's online now, which I guess means it's going to take a long time to download for some people. But if I load this up, cool. So we have 4 of these things. Now I could choose to host, but I'm not going to do that. Connect to localhost. I want to be able to connect to this thing that we tunnel. So I need to go see what port they're using. Let's go over to here, scripts, and scripts doesn't exist? Script? Okay, load every GD file. There we go. All right, so this is combo.gd. What is this? Paths.append grid container. Set multiplayer. Okay, so this is a way of launching 4 of these things, I guess. What is this file? This is game.gd. What does this do? Okay, this is for calling everything in the game, adding players and deleting players, which is probably connected via signals. What calls? Oh no, they're RPCs. On peer add. This sounds like a signal. Where's this get called from? On peer add. Oh, they just directly call in through game. Okay. All right. And we have a port of 8080. Okay, so let's forward this. Yeah, let's forward this. So what do I route this over? Because I can pick a type here. Type can be HTTP, it can be TCP. I mean, HTTP uses TCP. I'm guessing WebSockets use HTTP. I know it's the whole WS protocol, but it should be over HTTP. It's distinct from HTTP, although they're different. Designed to work over HTTP ports 443 and 80. Yeah, so I think we'll just do HTTP. Yeah. All right. And then URL is going to be localhost 8080. Okay, so I'm going to go save tunnel. And it says a CNAME already exists. Okay, fine. Call this Godot 2, I guess. And then we'll write a note to delete Godot 1 and Godot 2. Delete Cloudflare DNS entries for Godot and Godot 2 so that I can reuse them later. And then also write in the stupid Cloudflare notes that deleting a connector, note that this does not delete your DNS entry that you may have added when creating the tunnel. All right, so this should just be set up. The problem is loading Godot. It just froze when I tried to create a folder. So let's see if it works now. So I'm going to click play and we're going to host. Now it says players Adam. Now from here, can I type in godot2.bot.land and join as website connect? Okay, so no, it does not appear to be working. Connection closed. I wonder if I can try over here, godot2.bot.land. Okay, here it works, but here it doesn't. Could that be a CORS thing? I don't know. I guess if I gave this someone to try on their computer, they should be able to connect to me. And so that would mean it's a problem on the site. I guess just Chrome Inspector tools at this point might show me what's going wrong. So if I hit connect, what happens here? I don't see anything in the attempted to connect to insecure WebSocket endpoint. Request has been blocked. Request must be available over, yeah. So WSS. So that's secure WebSockets. And that should just work. So let's try that out. I should basically just be able to take this WS colon and turn this into WSS. It should just function totally fine. Let's go try it. Oh man, it'd be great if I got this working. Not that I am really doing a whole lot here, but okay, I hit host over here and I say connect to godot2.bot.land. Let's copy that, connect. Connection closed. I probably need to change the port. No, the port shouldn't need to change. The only thing I can think is that Cloudflare didn't already create a cert for me, or that there's some other thing I'm missing here. Well, is there somewhere else that we tried creating the service? No, it's just there. Actually, there should be a create server somewhere. This def port. I wonder if create server on a WebSocket multiplayer peer does not have the same arguments as the other creation. Create server, here it is. I do see TLS options there. Well. Start a new multiplayer client. Oh wait, no. TLS certs will be verified against the hostname when connecting with WSS. You can pass the optional TLS client options. This is the client side though. Recommended to specify the scheme part of the URL. Yeah. Okay, great. But what about this? Start a new server listening on the port. You can optionally specify a bind address and provide valid TLS server options. Bind address is star by default though. That shouldn't be a problem. And then TLS server options. Do I need to specify a cert? Creates a server configuration using provided key and certificate. The certificate should include the full certificate chain up to the signing CA. Yeah, I probably need to specify this. What did I do when I did this through Let's Encrypt? I ran a whole bunch of steps. And then I think it ended up saving the cert on my own machine. Yeah. You can easily use these to start a server, even for WebSockets. Oh, I said I don't have it anymore since I only wrote it on the VM that I terminated. Oh my God. what a dummy. What a total dummy. I didn't save any of the code. You need to open the port for Cloudflare to access your host, or does the tunnel work differently than that? No, the tunnel works by my machine connecting to Cloudflare so that I don't need to forward any ports or anything. Then once it goes through the servers, it converts to regular HTTP. Oh, wait, interesting. Oh, so it's terminating the connection. Well, it's terminating the, I guess, encrypted part of that connection. So this connection would be connecting to Cloudflare, and then it connects to the resulting port over just a WS connection. So then this should work, right? Just saying connect to. I'm not sure what I'm missing here. Yeah, I don't know. So you have both your Mac and mini PC tunnel? Yeah. Yep. You see what I said about enabling WebSockets on your domain? It's off by default. Oh, but that's, I'm not even doing this over a domain right now, right? Oh, wait, you're saying there's some like, wait, what? How? That shouldn't make sense, right? DNS is just getting an IP address in the end. So I shouldn't need to enable something on a domain. Hey, Goose. Like if I do ns lookup, godot2.bot.land, there should just be one IP address in here. Okay, there are two. And actually, that could potentially be a problem. How are there two here? I only have one tunnel. Oh, maybe, no, I don't know why. All right, well, let's just try them both. So if I say this, connection closed, and if I try the other one, connection closed. Okay, no. I am doing it through the tunnel, but I don't know what I would have to change here. Do I have anything else set up? Public host name, godot2.bot.land, connect to HTTP localhost 8080. Maybe I say HTTPS in there. Save host name. Well, I don't know. Let's try connecting again. No, still doesn't work. Godot2.bot.land. This shouldn't have changed, right? No, there's same addresses, but that could be because they got cached. Try the IPs. I mean, I did just try the IPs, and it didn't work the first time. I realize I have that type twice. But yeah, what's the other one there? 172.67.191.200. Yeah. Okay, so let's think about this for a sec. We have the client and server running on the same machine. The client is trying to connect. We have Cloudflare. Cloudflare set up to tunnel HTTPS at this point, localhost 8080 to my machine. And then so the client is trying to connect via WSS://. So I guess when the client tries to connect via WS, it works. When the client tries to connect via this, it doesn't work. And so what would happen, according to what Mike said, we would connect over the secure socket to Cloudflare. It terminates the secure part of the connection, opens it up via regular WebSocket to the rest. The server hosting wasn't changed at all, though. We just call create server on a port. Am I forwarding to a WS service? No. Do I need to do that? There's no way to do that though. It's just the only options I have, and I can probably show this, but let me just take a screenshot. So I have a drop down that looks like this. Sorry, I know that's going all over the place because the scroll is very abrupt. And the drop down just doesn't have WS options there. But it worked when I had HTTP and I specified a WebSocket over that address. So now the question is, how do I get it to work over a secure socket? And yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. I wonder if I need to re-host this. I don't think that would be it. Well, let's try. Connect to godot2.bot.land. Okay, no, it's definitely not that. But it will still work over localhost. Actually, it shouldn't even work over localhost because it's a secure socket now, right? Yeah, it looks like it's failing to connect. Did they print out any of these errors? Yeah, TLS handshake error there. But normally, if I just try connecting to this, it's probably I don't actually know what the problem would be. No, it's a TLS handshake error. Oh. So then, what would that mean? Does that mean the client does need to know the cert? I don't know. It just needs to trust the certificate authority. I don't know what else I should really do here. Hey, Smoo. SmooTube. HTTPS. Yeah, I don't think I can do anything differently here. What else do we have? Additional application settings, host header, connection, access. I'm not sure. All right, well, let's put this back to just regular HTTP, I suppose. And let's go just make sure that this was working in some way. So this we put back to just regular WebSocket and it works. Right? I host over here. I connect to godot2.bot.land. Yeah, so that works. That's never been a problem. And I'm pretty sure all I should need to change is this. Text, yeah. Yeah, so there's some other configuration I need to do. Well, let's look it up online. So Godot, WSS, Cloudflare, Tunnel. I wonder if this is doable. How to support this on the same domain. Probably works on the ports a regular connection will work on. You run a load balancer or proxy server that routes requests to the proper backend service. I wonder if just changing the port to 443 would help here. I don't know, right? I don't think that would matter, but I kind of wonder. Like maybe it notices something special about that. WebSocket. Thanks to improvements to the WebSocket module, SSL support has been added. Setting both private key and SSL cert properties will enable SSL. Here's an example for creating a WebSocket server with a self-signed cert. This is in create server though, right? Server.connect, server.listen, port. We have a key. We set it here. Yeah. So I won't have this information, but use one of those ports instead. Yeah, I'll try it. I don't think this should matter because of how that tunnel works, but it's worth a shot. So localhost 443, save host name. Okay, now we go host this again. Godot 2.bot.land. Yeah, it's gonna fail again, isn't it? I'm guessing it failed at the same thing. Actually, did not give me an error there. That's strange. Just says connection closed. I wonder what it's closing with. Pop-up centered, get OK button, grab focus, stop game. Pop-up centered. Where's it setting that text? Alert connection closed. I mean, it must be in this folder somewhere. Connection. No. There's just closed network. Oh. Oh, it's some like built-in thing, I guess. Oh no, it's just, yeah, it's built-in text. Connection closed. Here it is. I see. Okay, well, can we find out more about why this happened? Only if it gets called with something, and I don't know if it does. Godot closed network. Where do we find... Oh, closed network is the name of the function, not the name of the signal. Name of the signal is server disconnected. Oh. Well, it'll be interesting if this does end up working. There's probably a way to get it to work. Maybe I have to set up my own cert, and maybe that's what I try in the afternoon. Emitted. This doesn't get emitted with anything. Only emitted on clients. Yeah, so there's no way to tell why this failed. Maybe there is in the connect call down here, peer create client. I think we get an error from this. It'd be nice if I had GDScript type information in here. I want to figure that out at some point. How do I get GDScript type information on hover in VS Code? I have the extension, but it doesn't seem like I can navigate to definitions. Traffic gets to its target. I think it's related to certs. You have this in your code. Client set verify SSL enabled. I don't. I think that should be assumed by having WSS as the protocol though, right? Or in the URI that I have. Set verify SSL enabled. Also, it's trying to do this because otherwise it wouldn't be erroring out. I think maybe convert, yeah, my project to WebSockets. Maybe try to set up my own cert with Let's Encrypt. I feel like that route would definitely work. Like there should be no problem there. But then what would we do about the tunnel part of things? And is there any other way that I could... Sure. Okay, so yeah, what I was looking into is this peer.create client return an error. And does that give me any... Yes, it does return an error. Does that give me any insight into what went wrong? Because I think there are only 3 error codes. So if error, return error. Yeah, and just print got error like that. All right, let's go rerun that. It's going to give me an error code. The error code's probably not going to help. We hit host, we hit connect to. So it should print an error out here. It'll just be a number from 0 to 2, I'm guessing. It didn't even print an error. Well, that's strange. Yeah, that's strange. So that would imply that it can create the client and it's failing after that. Go to Cloudflare, your domain network, make sure the WebSocket is checked. Cloudflare domain, there it is. Network. WebSockets is checked. Allow WebSockets connections to your origin server. Yeah. Interesting. I guess I still don't understand what that would even mean. I guess it would mean when it's going through Cloudflare. Which I guess whether or not okay, I see. So it's not a DNS kind of thing. All right. I understand. So we can't get more information about the error here other than that it is not. Wait, let me change this again. Let me change this to HTTP. Yeah, and I don't know if the port matters here. It's not gonna work, right? Oh, whoa, we're connected there. Wait, what? What? Okay, hold on. Before I changed something, and I'll tell you what I changed in just a sec. But first, let's try exporting this because I don't know. Oh, I have export with debug. I guess I should cut that out. No, don't overwrite. Export without debug. There. Okay. It's crashing everything now, I guess. Is that where we're at? Did it finish? I think it finished. I didn't really get a chance to see if Godot was using a ton of CPU. But it's not now. All right, we should have a new build, and the new build should be smaller, I hope. Where is the new build? Here. And where's the WASM file? There. And where is the size? Yeah, it went down by like 10 or 15 megabytes. Okay, so now we just copy paste all this over to here. And choose to overwrite all of them. Okay, uploading 30%, 50%, 70%. So I need to host this. Good. And then I go online and I go to share.bot.land/out and I connect to godot2.bot.land and I say website. It worked. Okay. Well, then whatever, I guess. So now if I connect again from over here, godot2.bot.land, hello. Yeah, so someone else just connected. And I can connect over here too, and I can say do action. And now it's the next person's turn, this. And now it's the other player's turn. So whoever connected is dot, you've got to click the do action button. Yep, nice. Okay, then hello, it's my turn. And then it's Yo's turn. Nice. Okay, so we're playing a game. What was the fix? So the fix was to set up the service to look like this. So I have it as HTTP, but the secure port. So 443. What was that necessary? I don't know. I don't know why this wasn't working. Yeah, well, yeah, I guess we'll need to test this out a little bit later because we're almost into switch to mentoring time. Feels like a hack, but at least it works. Yeah, the question is, was that necessary? Would be required for SSL, wouldn't it? I don't think the port should matter. If you don't have a port, HTTPS defaults to 443. So that's where a port might actually matter. But if you specify a port, if I say I'm connecting to WSS : whatever, localhost, and then port 7895, it should still work, I think. Was I doing it before? I'm pretty sure. I mean, we could check the VOD, I guess. Could it be that the protocol is ignored or something? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. And I tried with port 443, but set to HTTPS online. So, okay, now here's what we have to do. We basically know we have a working state. So that's awesome. But then I need to toggle HTTP to HTTPS and port 8080 to 443. And I want to try all 4 combos of this. Well, I guess one combo we know works, this combo. So now does HTTP in 443 work? Does HTTPS in 8080, HTTPS in 443? So I want to try those 3 later. I think we got to prep for mentoring now. Oh yeah, are you using Firefox, Smoo? Because apparently Firefox is very slow loading Godot games. If you're not using Firefox, then that sounds like a problem. Wow, I can't believe this. Afternoon. Test these combinations. All right, but the working one that we have, and I want to write this down, so I definitely don't forget this. Did more people end up connecting? Oh, thanks, you are my idol. Okay, so now let's put this here. All right, so this worked. This is Cloudflare. And then the code is just, I want to get all this stuff. The port and the connection. Yeah, that worked. Firefox bug was only on macOS, I see. Making a script to get the current YouTube live stream chat URL is pretty simple. Yeah, I guess my issue is, why does there even need to be a script? Why does YouTube not just have something like, you know, youtube.com/ whatever live/c/Adam Learns or something like that, and not just have this always point to the current one? But yeah, I should probably write a script and do that. By the way, YouTube chat has had a total of 4 messages since I started the stream, and then 2 of my own. I think that's normal. I'm not really, I don't know. What is discoverability on YouTube anyway? Like, how would people find the live stream? I guess I should ask that person who showed up yesterday. How did this come up for them? Which is easier, making a YouTube change? I mean, pretty easy. You get a job at Google, get hired onto the YouTube team, you make a simple change. Yeah, I get you. It's definitely easier to do that, to make a script. And yeah, maybe I should. Let's search for this. Hey, Boof. Now we're up to 5 YouTube messages. So where did I write about simulcasting here? Well, try simulcasting is done. All right, is it helping at all? Am I getting new subs or watch hours? What kind of tooling do I want? Showing YouTube chat on stream, and then even just navigating to YouTube chat. I can write a script to get the current live stream's URL. Saw it in the gaming category? What? Really? Huh. Yeah, I know I can get to the live stream. I just don't know how to get to the chat for that. And it keeps changing the video URL here. So yeah, I'll probably have to write a script and just pop up a page that looks like this. If only you knew someone who was adept with scripting. Yeah, but I just don't. No, I don't mind even doing it myself. I don't want to make other people do that kind of work. Maybe because of multiplayer? Yeah, maybe. Okay, well, we're going to be transitioning a little bit here into mentoring time. And then from there, what time is it right now? Yeah. We're going to transition to mentoring, and then we're going to transition into lunch, and then we'll transition back into streaming. Here's a basic starter. Get live video ID. New request for the channel. Oh, wow. I didn't even realize you didn't have to. Okay, yeah. I will write this down because this expires in 6 days, right? That's what that means. I think that's what that means. Whoa, oh, it just told me. When this paste gets automatically deleted. Yeah. I'll put this in here. Script. Ding. Cool. You can do multiple streams in parallel. How does that even make sense? I guess if you're a channel that does like, I don't know, tournaments and you want to cast 10 different matches or something at a time. Okay. Yeah. Maybe that's what we need to do. Just become a tournament channel. All right. Let's pivot. Let's pivot, chat. Gonna go set up for mentoring. So let's go update the title on here. Setting up for mentoring. Delete the Godot tag. Botlantourneys.com. Yeah. And then change it over here too. Where is the title? How do I do this? I have no idea how I customize this. I honestly don't know. Oh, I'm logged in as the wrong account. That's why. Okay, does that fix it? Do I now have an edit button? I still don't? Oh, I guess I have to click edit video. Okay, there we go. Setting up for mentoring. Just delete that. Okay. Hey, Funky Monkey. All right, so let's go look at our mentoring prep. Switch to setting up for mentoring so that people can only hear me. I don't think I'm going to do this. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do this. Do I want to stand for mentoring? I feel like I do. Yeah. You have plans to automate this stuff? I would like to automate some of the OBS stuff, but when I looked into how I would do that, I think there's just an OBS bug right now. So, and that's like the bulk of what I have to do here. And then also a lot of what I have to do is read through the document, and that I can't automate. I'll be right back. Just grabbing my standing mat. Okay. So yeah, let's start by reading through the document because that's something that can at least be more interactive. All right, so session number 2, what is the stuff I want to talk about? All right, assessment center postponed to middle of March. Okay, so for those, I'll try to give as much context as I can here. 3D Extended, I've done 2 mentoring sessions with them so far, and we're about to do the 3rd one. And so they're working as a product owner, I want to say. I mean, this is all here at the bottom. Yeah, product owner for a mid-sized company in Germany. Official title though is software engineer. And they eventually want to become the CTO of their company. And so we're kind of going to talk through a lot of this stuff. Do something similar to the voice command as you did for the jump game. Yeah, I could. Oh yeah, I'm not ready yet. I got to read through this and make sure I'm like up to date on what we talked about last time. But then, yeah, good to know. Okay, so let's see. That was session 1. I want session 2. Okay, exam will be taken in March. Okay, one thing I want to know is when is the exam exactly? All right, Torn would love to have the assessment sooner. Tired of prep. January's too soon. How? Requirements you have to meet. Also some work to do. Plan them 3 weeks in advance of the assessment center. So is the prep done? Do you feel ready? He said yes if he does the assignments. Have you done the assignments that needed to be done? Mentoring from CEO, not yet an option. After becoming a leader, I want to approach the CEO for mentoring. We talked about his manager last time. He talked to his manager, his future manager. Peter was admiring his business skills and empathy levels. Formal education, empathy, and building relationships. Wants to learn from that person. Okay. Exam, leadership, mentoring. All right. Oh yeah, perfectionism. Gotta talk about this. How do you feel about this now? Person won't be the exam conductor. Yeah. Especially this quote. Okay. Wants to make sure there's room to fail. It's a safety net. Fear of failure. Important. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to write this stuff down like this. Where... Yeah, and the fear of failure. I'll just write it like that. Worth adding some kind of intro refresher to the start of YouTube videos to provide context for people that find video 2 or 3. I'm going to change a little bit about how I do this. I want to put all the mentoring videos on a different channel entirely, because I think they're probably taking away from the main channel. And then as far as a refresher, oh man, I just don't think there's the viewership yet to justify that, but it's a chicken and egg problem. Like, does it not have viewership because people can't get into the series, or is it that no one's looking for this content? Because if you're watching a TV show, you do have refreshers at the beginning telling you stuff. But then I kind of want to just have the refreshers be there in the episodes themselves. I don't know. Anyway, it's very tough. It's definitely tough. Okay, so yeah, watch out for perfectionism, change mentality as much as possible. To see passing is good. Yeah. Yeah, this is what I'd put a star on last time. And then cut yourself some slack. Cutting yourself slack. Giving yourself credit. Yeah. I want to make sure there's time to look back and appreciate. I know Peter is brimming with news and is probably like, none of this is going to matter. I'm the CTO now. That's it. I own 7 companies. All of this happened in a month. Oh yeah, so black and white questions. All right, yep. Current manager giving this advice. Open-mindedness, bring the reins. Awareness, trigger words. Good specific feedback. Okay, gym topic, yeah. Follow up on exercise. How's it going? How have the plans changed? Yeah. Are you still on a streak? All right, and then how has the app launch been? Yeah, so this is something Peter had announced on Discord. The app was near release, and it now has been released. Marketing. Oh yeah, how do you feel about marketing? I'll just say it's success criteria. You were originally focused on marketing it and learning the whole marketing side. And I was trying to dissuade you. Okay, cool. Yeah, so these are my thoughts. Like I said, this is the part that definitely can't be automated. I need to just go look and see these things again. Bump from last time. Yeah, that doesn't matter, probably. All right. Good. Okay, so now we can do the rest of the prep. So switch to this and this. Okay, now I do want this mentoring text to be there. There was a mentoring timer. Is this gonna work? This does not look like it's working. Huh. Yeah, it looks like something failed here. I wanted to show a timer when I was mentoring, and I don't see the timer showing up. What do I do? Fresh browser when it becomes active. Yeah, weird. Fresh cache. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right. So studio mode, we got this set up. Scene, got this. Set text, not going to do that. Open Yada. Yep, let's go do that. Yeah, I also want to figure out, anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm going to not talk about this stuff so much anymore. Okay, then Chrome, we got open and Discord. Cool. Make a mentoring speedrun. So read the last document, hide the outline view, that's done, and set browser zoom to 125. Done. This is to make sure we don't have any issues from last time. Ask chat about audio levels and whether Yada is refreshing, and change the stream title. Yeah. Let's go do that. Oh yeah, this too. Thursday, Adam is mentoring Peter. This is their third session together. Okay. Cool. Let's go type this into chat. Okay, now let's change the title and then I think we're good. Yeah, I think automating a lot of this would be good. I think that having, I don't know, just figuring out what I'm doing with these mentoring things. I'll just say Peter, session number 3. Okay, so let's do that here. And then same thing over on the dashboard. All right. And now the only other thing I have to do is call up Peter and make sure audio levels are okay. But yeah, I'm excited. I want to hear what news they have. So let's do this. And I'll give them a call. Oh wait, no, hang on. I gotta set up Chrome and stuff first. What am I doing? Chrome mentoring. There we go. And then Yada. There we go. Okay. Now, where did the Yada window go? I can expand this downward a little bit. Gotta make sure my head doesn't block it. My head gets cut off there anyway. It works out great. Okay, now it's time to make the call. Oh. Hello, hello. All right, so I think chat can hear you, but I have not shown you yet. Let me see if I can get that. Good. Hey, nice. It's already pretty much set up. All right, cool. So let's do an audio check. Chat, do let me know. How does Peter sound compared to me? Peter, why don't you tell me some numbers between 10 and 20?
Oh boy, 17, 14, 15, 12, 11, 10.
All right, chat, what do you think? Audio level's good? Audio's good. Okay, cool. All right, then yeah, let's get started. So why don't you kick this off? I know you got some exciting news.
Yeah, I do. So basically, after my last session with you, basically a few days after, my company approached me and asked me if I wanted to be promoted early to the leadership position I was transitioning in. There were some strings attached, but basically, I have been promoted to this position as of Tuesday this week. So pretty new everything. But the strings attached are I have to pass the AC before I have before I get the pay increase. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
I was gonna think, congratulations, first of all. But yeah, okay, continue.
Okay, so there's one more thing I'm pretty happy with. They approached me and basically said, we believe in you. We believe you can pass the AC, and no matter what, if you pass the first time or not, you will become this leadership, or you can transition into this leadership position and basically have the ability to try the second time next year. So that's a fallback relief for me. But I have to admit, it's not as big as I has thought about this. Yeah.
Wait. I want to. There's a lot to
Okay.
talk about. So,
Yeah.
okay. So first of all, you said if you pass, everything's fine. You get the pay increase. If you don't pass,
Yes.
they said they believe in you enough that you'll pass the next time, so that things will be still. You'll still be in the leadership position, but you won't have the pay increase till next year.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. That's good, and I'm sure you'll pass. I think everything's gonna go great. What was that last thing you said though about not as big as you thought?
So basically, they told me the possibility that I could transition into this leadership position early, and they mentioned that I would be able to take the exam. I have to take the second time, which was news to me. That wasn't the deal we agreed up on early, and I thought this was a news that would take a stress level down for me, but it didn't.
Okay. Yeah, the stress level of having a fallback
Yeah,
wasn't
right.
as big as you thought.
Yeah.
All right, so you're basically saying you're still stressed.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. All right. All right. Well, look, I will say this: you're set up very well, so at least the foundation is there to not be
Yeah.
stressed. One of the questions I had for you is when is this exam? Because you said it was March, but I don't think I know exactly when.
I haven't told you, but basically it's before this 22nd. I can't name the date
Okay.
officially
Okay. Never
because
mind.
yeah,
Yeah. I'll just say like mid to late March. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. So we'll find out probably before the next session, well, thereabouts at least, of
yeah.
mentoring that we do. How do you feel preparedness wise? We talked a lot about you wanting to achieve perfection, and it was really
Yeah.
the safety net. Well, now you have another safety net, and you're still like, no, I still want to make sure I go through this first time. So yeah.
So I feel prepared. I had the possibility to have, yeah, basically I had some possibility to train for this assessment center I have to take for this examination by talking to some employees that are now my employees, basically, which were before my colleagues. And I feel good about it. There's one thing I have to still study, but this was on plan, so I'm on track for this. What I have laid out for me. So basically, the 3 weeks before the examination, I have some study plan laid out for me. So I'm on track. I feel good about this, but the stress levels are really high, um, especially because there's so much new stuff flying in onto me by becoming the new leader, by transitioning into this leadership position. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to back up to something that might not actually be important, but you said you talked to some employees who are now your employees. Are they people who took the exam?
No. So I have someone that took the exam about a half year ago, but the exam is so changed from session to session that basically they only can tell you about the process they went through and not about the exam you took or you will take.
Yeah.
Because it is changed. Yeah.
Yeah, I see. It was about that process. So, all right, you talked to some people, you feel prepared, you've got a plan for the rest of the preparations, you've got a fallback for if that doesn't pan out, so that a year from now you can still have your position. You're probably, this probably doesn't matter, but if anyone fails the first time around, do their odds of passing the next time drastically increase because they got some experience?
I don't have the stats. No, I don't
Okay,
have
yeah,
the
I wasn't sure.
information.
So I want to ask you, how would you feel? And this is just to explore where the stress is coming from. How would you feel if you found out in April, okay, you did not pass. We were serious about what we said though. You keep your leadership position. We try again in a year. What is your reaction to this? How do you think your life changes?
So basically, I get notice of my passing, my grade, basically on the day I take the exam.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, right. And I will be bummed if it doesn't work out for I don't know, a day, 2 days maybe, max. But then it's an okay. That's reality. Let's move on. I have something else to focus on. My new employees I have to lead, no matter what. And yeah,
Okay.
basically leave it behind. Yeah.
Yeah. So I get that this can be stressful. This is a big thing. But I would say with this new fallback, it's not as high pressure as it was. It wasn't like, well, I'm going to keep my old job. This sets my plans back. But your plans are moving forward regardless. And you've got these new employees, you've got new responsibilities, you've got probably quite a lot on your plate. And like you
Yeah.
said, this is as of what, 2 days ago, really, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all very new. And I'm sure that's going to change your life a lot for the next probably few months at least. And then maybe you'll have settled into a routine. So I still want to understand though where the stress is coming from then. So you just said I would accept this reality after a couple of days at most
Mm.
and I would move on. You'd presumably still prepare next year for the exam. You'd rise
Yeah.
to the occasion of your leadership position. So why is this built up as much as it is in your head?
I don't know. I'm really competitive. As I mentioned, I did martial arts for about 21 years, and I think it has something to do with my competitiveness. But that is far-fetched. I have this stress. I know I have this stress, but
Yeah.
I can't reason why I have this stress.
Okay, yeah. But not necessarily why, yeah. And I think that's normal. I think that's how stress works for a lot of people. It'll strike you, a week from now when you wake up in the middle of the night and you'll say, "Oh my God, that's why I'm stressed" or something. And it doesn't necessarily matter. And you've got a plan for tackling all this anyway. And we're talking about a hypothetical here. So I won't dwell on this too much. If there's no way we can reduce your stress in the next 3 weeks, then there's no way we can do that. The one thing I would say though is that why I recognize the competitiveness, but this isn't a competition. And I think it's important to separate those things, right? There's no one who can take this position from you. And the only thing you're really competing with is that grade scale of did you pass or did you fail? And that's it.
I'm comparing against my peers that transitioning into this position as well. That is my baseline. I want to be better at them.
Okay. I want to explore two parts of that. One, suppose you, and this is probably not even possible, but suppose you did 8 times better than them on the exam. Um,
Yeah.
what would that mean to you?
I don't know. It doesn't mean anything to be better than them. It would mean a lot to me if I would be worse than them.
Okay. And something to be worse. So that was one thing I wanted to ask about. The other thing I wanted to ask about is how do you know their scores?
They would tell me. So
Oh,
basically, we get a scorecard for how we ranked in each category, basically, and they don't have to share them, but we were pretty open about this, and I would guess that we would share them. Yeah.
I see. Okay, how would you feel about this? You leave the exam, you feel like you did amazingly. You get back the result, you pass with flying colors, and you don't talk to your colleagues about their scorecards.
The issue I have is there are two peers that will take the exam before me,
Mm-hmm.
who will make the decision of sharing their scores before I could basically share my decision to not to do so.
Yeah. Okay. Um, yeah, and again, I'm just kind of exploring this. You could potentially say, you know what? I don't want this pressure. I want to dial down the competitiveness. So what if we didn't talk about our scores? Anyway, I think this is all fine. What I don't want to have happen, and I think this is something we need to figure out, is you end up doing well, you pass, you got your leadership position, you got your pay raise, and then you talk to your colleagues and you end up feeling worse about passing because they passed even better. You know, that's not a helpful thing.
I think that's the same as not passing the exam. I would be bummed for
Okay.
maybe a couple hours, and that's it. I wouldn't. It's basically an examination for a day, right? If you have a good day, maybe your score is better than if you had a worse day, and hence the comparing scores isn't really viable either way.
Okay. All right. Well, good. I hope it goes well. I want to talk about the
hope so,
even bigger part of what you said here, which is you've got the new position. So you've had it for 2 days. I don't expect you to be able to answer sort of all the questions, but what's been new? How has it felt? How many employees do you have? What does your life look like now?
Really stressful. A lot of meetings. So I had a lot of meetings beforehand, but basically they were all in an 1 hour block each day, and basically up to 8 meetings, as I have an 8 hour workday. The interesting thing is, since yesterday, my first real day, I have a lot of half an hour
Yeah.
meetings scheduled,
Yeah.
which increases the amount of context changes you have to make on a given day. Yeah.
Yeah, and that can be very tough. Oh man, my keyboard just broke. So all right, I can't type numbers anymore. Yeah, I was gonna say having, I guess now sort of up to 16 meetings, but it's probably never actually going to be that much. Is that yeah? So up to 8 hours, and so now they're half-hour chunks. The context switching part, I've heard from people who are in meetings for that long every day that they tend to just eventually hit a point where they can't really absorb anymore. And so part of the issue becomes prioritizing the important meetings for earlier in the day when you're still fresh enough to do that, and maybe a little bit after lunch. But then it's like, not late afternoon. It's hard to still function. Do you find that? Has it been tough?
I'm pretty used to having a lot of meetings, and I have started basically a few years ago to take meeting notes while I have a meeting, which makes a context change really easier, but not really easy. But this helps a lot. And my prioritization, I haven't figured out yet, but I have someone I can ask. So basically, my manager now is basically someone I can work with and talk to if I struggle to prioritize, especially between meetings with our customers and meetings with our employees or CEOs and stuff. And this is that's news to me, and I have to figure it out. But I have a way to go about this. Yeah.
Okay, and so remind me, you had your manager now is different from the one before? Because I remember there was something a little unusual. You were okay, yeah. So it is a different manager. And what is your relationship with them? Did you already know them?
That was the guy I admired his empathy levels and his business skills.
I see.
So he was the one who hired me. I had my first meetings with this company, with this man, and I have a really good baseline with him. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned lots of meetings, but you already had meetings, but now they're just more segmented than they were before. I remember when I was talking to you about this a while ago that you said once you transitioned, you'd be expected to do a lot of those meetings still, and then also manage people, and then also maybe some other things. Yeah. So what is that? I know you said you're still working on prioritization. What is the expected spread of work? How are you going to carve out time to grow your direct reports?
So I have a really good sympathy level with my customers. I have a few I talk to basically on a daily level, and they didn't know I was transitioning into this leadership role, but we had the ability to talk to them yesterday, and basically I told them that I have to reduce my time in this project and work on employee stuff and leadership stuff. And obviously they were bummed because we have such a good relationship, but yeah, they were totally understanding, and I think they really yeah, they congratulated me for this role and the possibilities, and yeah, but so this was the one side of my prior job.
Yeah.
I am able to reduce the meetings I have with customers, basically by telling them. The other side is my product owner position with my internal meetings I have in this company, and there's a long way to go. Both my manager and I think that if I cut out the meetings as I should to basically the project would die over the years. And hence, my manager and I am talking about finding a long-term solution. Maybe hiring someone that can take over the role, but the person I was leaning on isn't quite there yet. They can take some chunks of me off, but not too much yet.
Yeah. So you'd mentioned that a while ago that you were essentially training someone to take this over. Yeah. So that's the person, and you said they're not quite there yet. And your management chain agrees enough to the point where they say we might need to hire somebody as opposed to let's develop this person. Would developing that person take, let's say, like years to do?
Basically, they need a lot of one-on-ones, and I can't carve out the time to do so. And we are leaning towards using someone internal, which has the prior experience in the project, but I'm working on a sub-project of a big project, of a big customer base with a big product, and basically using someone on another sub-project and transitioning them into my sub-project to take over my role. That's one possibility we are discussing, but it hasn't figured out. It has been not figured out yet.
Yeah, that makes sense. How would you feel if everyone agrees in your management chain that this work should get dropped because your work that you're doing now is more important?
Basically, I don't think that my upper management would agree. They are leaning towards more prioritizing the project and the customers before leaning towards the employees, which is, in my opinion, not the right prioritization because, well, managing my employees could lead towards more output.
I see.
But that's difficult. So my upper management is basically focused on the money, where the money is at, and my project is one of the biggest monetization projects my company has at this point.
Yeah, I see. And so what I'm trying to reconcile here is this management was all involved in this promotion and offering this to you early. So they're clearly, they've identified that this need is now. It's not waiting until the end of March where we can find out the results. So they recognize that. They presumably know what goes into the role and what they're asking of you. And then at the same time saying, well, they may not have said this yet. It sounds like some of it might be an assumption on your part. And so it's possible that they say, you know what, we just want you to focus on this role. We want you to make sure your direct reports are happy, that you're managing these new meetings, that you yourself are happy. And so if they did still have the expectation that this project moves forward and you yourself have said you don't have the time, what do you plan to do about it?
So basically, there's a strategy and vision meeting with upper management next week, so Thursday and Friday, and there's. I was invited as the product owner, as my previous occupation, and we will be discussing the future of this of this project and how we move forward. And I would hope that we will discuss this issue as well next week.
In my mind, that there is no project without someone to work on it, and there is currently not someone to work on it solely unless you somehow carve out the time or get this other person the one-on-ones that they need, or that other person from the other sub project can migrate over. But so those are essentially the three routes, right? You carve out the time, you raise this other person up, you get this other person from the sub project. If those things don't happen, it's what needs to be sacrificed for this to move forward. And I don't see that working out based on what you've said. It's like, what are you going to not give attention to some of your direct reports?
Yeah, right.
Right. So in my mind, this has to come up at this meeting, and it probably has to be like the number one thing to talk about, because otherwise people might fall into this rhythm of, okay, it's been a week or two since our last meeting or vision meeting. I don't know how many of these people know the news, and no, let's just talk about the next features we want to work on. And you're like, well, hold on a second. So I would say, like, make sure this gets discussed for sure.
Yeah.
And then figure out ahead of time what you want. And so what is your ideal outcome here?
So I don't know if there is a clear path towards what I have in mind, but I have a clear vision of what it should be. And this is, I want to be managing the new product owner of the current project. So basically stepping the ladder up, leaving some control behind, but basically having still the influence into this project, so we can still steer the project where it needs to head. I don't want to become the PO of the POs. That's but basically that's the goal I have in mind.
Yeah. For one, I think that's the only thing that makes sense, because you have the expertise and you had previously been the sole product owner with this mentee beneath you who was you were helping out. And so any of the options that we've talked about, if someone were to come over from this other sub project, I assume they'd report to you for at least this part of it. If your mentee ends up taking over, they're almost certainly reporting to you. They're already a report of you right now, right?
No, actually not. But they would be in the sense that I have the experience in the project, so they would tend to lean on towards me, but without being my actual report on the paper.
I see. And then the third option was hiring someone in, and I assume again that they would say, "Yep, we're hiring them under you to report to you." Okay, yeah. So I think that's good. Of those options, then, and I know you said you don't have a clear idea of what that path is, but which one sounds the best to you? Like, let's say you iron out the wrinkles. Which would you want your mentee, a different person from the sub project, or an external hire?
I think there is no option. There is no way around doing both. So I would think that my mentee would take over, especially for the first part and being a direct report of mine. But there needs to be someone else that joins this team. Basically, the workloads are the same in the project, not even others. So I'm leaving the project, the workload is the same, and the mentee was working towards this project. So we need someone else to come in too.
I see. And is the eventual plan to have that mentee of yours be the sole owner? Because if you hire someone from outside and they're hired for this project, they might say, well, now I'm going to take over what Peter used to be.
The project is big enough where we could hire 5 new product owners and they would have full-time jobs. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this gives me some insight into what's going on here. And here's how I think you could pursue this. I think you could say, essentially, these thoughts that you've shared here, we have a lot of breadth with this project, and the more people we put into it, essentially the more revenue we could get out of it.
Yes.
And we just need people to look at that. This is the kind of, I think, convincing and leadership that is going to be sort of expected of your role. You're essentially planning strategy of this product in terms of human resources. And so this meeting that's coming up on Thursday or Friday of next week, I think, are you the one sort of running it?
No, actually, my IC level, so a CEO and both CEOs had invited to this meeting, but I would assume that they don't come prepared. So basically, I would take over the moderation role and yeah, basically lead this
Okay, yeah. All right. And
meeting
so
now.
do you have a clear enough path for how that'll work based on what we've talked about now? Because it sounds like you've got the
Yeah.
ideas swimming around. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I won't belabor this at all. I think it's good. I think it's good that you think about what it is you want out of this, and it sounds like you've got some ideas and what the needs
Mhm.
are. So yeah, I trust that you can handle that. Let me see, because I've been writing notes above what you had said. So let me see if we covered all this stuff. First getting to know each other means. Oh yeah, how about this? So you said tomorrow you're going to get to know some of the employees. How many reports do you have right now?
19,
Yeah. Okay.
and one is in the air, so it will be increasing in to 20.
Oh yeah, I can't type numbers. 19, maybe 20. Okay, so this is the thing that I was at least the most concerned about. You don't seem
I
stressed.
have some news about this.
Yes,
Yeah.
tell me.
So I've been rewatching our latest session, and I think I did some. There's some miscommunication.
Okay.
I'm the. So basically, there is the leadership is split into two. You have the HR person, which
Mhm.
basically is for pay increase and working hours and basic skill development. And there's the project part where basically you report to the project leader to for uh, guidance on where this project is heading, where product management sits, and where you want to work on. And I'm taking over the role of the leader, which has basically the HR part of those 20 employees, which is not directly. So I have no weekly reports with my 20 employees, but it is expected for me to have at least 2 meetings each year with every employee, and everything on top of this is basically up to you.
Okay.
Obviously, I tend towards skill development and want to stay in touch with my employees, and yeah, plan on having more meetings, but it's not a weekly communication with them.
Okay, that is very different because
Yeah.
yeah, what I was picturing, at least the structures that I'm used to seeing is, I use this number 7, but managers tend to have about 7 reports. That seems to be a number they
Mhm.
can handle, because that way, if you're doing a meeting once per week, it's like 3 meetings per day, which is not too bad. They can be about
Yeah.
half an hour. Where you're talking about 2 meetings a year, so, and you have 20 people, so 40 meetings a year, that is also kind of close to 1 meeting per week, a little less than that,
Yeah.
but not nearly to the level of what I was thinking originally. So, what does the skill development look like for these people if you're only meeting them twice a year?
So basically, those meetings are planned out beforehand, and basically there are 4 categories. What is the employee working on currently? What are they proud of? Which direction would they want to head? Yeah, basically their opinion on the skill development, and then the part where I uh, put down the skill development that is needed for the company, and we try to match them.
Okay. It's is needed skill wise. So this is a pretty templated meeting. It is something that you don't need to go in saying, "Look, I planned out a whole bunch of things based on everything I know about you and examining your
Mhm.
work." They do a lot of the prep for that, and you know what's needed, but not out of them specifically, maybe. Or okay,
Right, but I have to be the one figuring out what is needed for the company to move forward.
yeah,
So that is my current role.
yeah, got it. Okay. All right, that is very different from what I thought. I think this is much more manageable because you have, I'm just saying a number here. You have 40 hours of meetings per week now essentially. You're going
Yeah.
to you're going to cut that down to 39.5 and jam in one of these one of these meetings once per week or something like that. By the way, are they generally half an hour? Are they an hour long?
So those planned meetings are about 2 hours long.
Oh, okay.
But there is a lot of work that goes into these meetings. So the skill development part, basically figuring out what product management wants, because they tend to not know what they want. This is my job now. I have to be the one figuring out what is the direction we are heading, doing strategy and vision for the company, for the project itself, for the product, and basically matching this with the with the employees. And I would be responsible for the hiring process. If someone puts down a new skill and we don't have this, I would be responsible to finding this person and hiring them.
Okay, so I did underestimate this in my, trivialized example that I have here. This leads me to another thing, though. You said you wanted to help people grow their careers and you want to focus on the skill development part. This is a significant enough investment from what you've already talked about. If you are needing to do these every so often, maybe the strategy and vision can be done such that you can talk to 10 of your employees with that strategy and vision in mind, and then you do another. But
Yeah.
those meetings still need to happen. You still need to talk to people. What do you plan, without knowing the total role right now, what do you plan on doing for extra skill development? Do you want to meet with people more often? Do you want to just say, hey, my door's open? Like, how do you plan on having this go?
So I plan on having open door meetings, basically a meeting online, a virtual meeting where people can join, employees can join, and we talk about the issues they have. And if there is something we can do to help them. I have established a meeting basically once a month where I present the new findings, the new discoveries I made while analyzing the business skills we need, or the skills we need. And I plan on basically providing the coachings and basically mentoring some of the employees that needs them. We are able to hire some external coaches for basic needs we have, and we are able to find trainings online, or basically trainings online, and match them to our employees we have.
Yeah.
And that is what I try to achieve in the next few months.
Okay. So part of the next few months of getting everyone up to speed is identifying where the biggest needs are and then getting people connected to the resources. I see. Okay, I think there is still quite a lot there. I think another thing that I hear is, you said these open door meetings. I think at least in the US we say office hours, which I don't know if they're the same, but anyway, it's something where it's like, this is on your calendar as a slot that's devoted to this, but only if people decide that they want to join. So essentially, if no one joined, you'd have that time free.
Right.
And so what happens sometimes is that you become a far enough away figurehead for these people. Like, you're a leader, but they're like, I don't want to waste Peter's time with that. And so people may not end up showing up. Are you going to do more to maybe proactively identify where these needs are for people?
So that's what I'm trying to figure out. I scheduled for my employees. I scheduled in getting to know each other meeting, and I want to ask them. Basically, the management I am replacing now has not invested much time into skill development, and I could imagine that there are some employees that like being left alone without management leadership. And figuring out themselves. But that's I don't know this. I want to ask them, what do you expect from me? What would your ideal world in skill development look like? And basically trying to figure out what my employees need to move forward.
Okay. I think it's a good plan. And these meetings start tomorrow? Or do they only run for tomorrow?
Yes. No, so I have a maximum of 3 getting to know each other meetings each day, because otherwise it would be too much. And the first 2 start tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's a good idea to set that maximum, especially early on, because you might find out from some of these meetings that, wait a second, I need to prepare something for the later ones that I have. Okay, so let's stop for a second and do what I'm telling you to do sometimes, which is let's look backwards and let's analyze some things. So you have set yourself on this path and you have been diligently following it to your own, I don't know, dismay. You feel like you haven't been following it enough and yet you've been at maximum stress. And so, okay, you've been doing great. You've gotten this far. Your company has recognized you. They've said, we want you to move into this position even sooner than we thought. And you were willing to do that. And now you've started doing everything you need to do moving forward. So I want you to recognize that you have essentially been living in world A up until this time, and now you're in world B. And it's different. It's new. It's exciting. There's a lot of opportunity. And this is a lot of what you're telling me here. You know, you've told me about this long-term goal of becoming CTO, this thing about figuring out what does the company need? How do we do it? Who do we hire? All of these sorts of things are skills that you're working toward. So again, we need to recognize that you have done this, you have set this up, and it's a great job. And I'm going to ask you what I asked Rami. Did you watch Rami's session?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. How are you going to celebrate?
So I have written down some notes on struggling to finding how to celebrate. I wanted to celebrate my app release, and I was not able to find something what I could do to for myself, basically to celebrate. I have two things in mind, and one I have scheduled for Saturday to celebrate my app release, which is going climbing. I wasn't climbing since I was a long time ago, and basically this is something I want to try. And I want to try getting a massage, which I haven't done ever before, and I want to try it, yes.
Okay, that's really good. I think the climbing thing, so I'm not trying to judge celebrations. In my mind, it's not a standard celebration because it's like climbing is something people tend to do, you know, every week. But a massage is not something people tend to do every week. I think that's a great one. And I think anything else, if you're struggling to come up with ideas, I always think, you know, what brings you joy that you wouldn't do normally? So for me, for example, you know, I like eating food from a restaurant, but I don't get delivery a lot because it just adds an overhead cost. But if I'm celebrating, that's something where I say like, okay, cost out the window, just what do I want to do? And so for a lot of people, it can be going somewhere, some hike or a vacation or playing a game with friends or just even just letting people know, hey, I am celebrating or something. Hey, you want to come to this thing? You want to come climbing with me? So if you can invite people to that and say, this is a celebratory climb instead of just a regular climb or something, they'll be like, hey, cool, you launched your app. You can talk about it and you can live that moment and recognize the thing that you did, the work that you put into it and what you've accomplished. Because I think that's the important part of slowing down a bit and not just thinking, what's the next step? What's the next step? Because it's great to do that when there are fallbacks. So like you said, if you found out, hey, my colleague scored higher than me, 100% move on from that pretty much as fast as you can if you feel like you've processed it, but not the good stuff. So I want you to live the good stuff a little bit longer. So you mentioned celebrating your app release. I'm talking now about we need a second celebration. So how
I have something to add to this. I figured out how I used to celebrate, and I'm not happy with this. I have written it down a little bit further down, but basically I was celebrating by spending way too much money on gifts for friends and family. Every time I did something amazing, I did throw out the cost out the window, and but I did not buy something for me, but my friends or family. And I want to change this, but that was one realization after watching Rami's session.
Yeah. Wait. Okay. So why do you want to change that?
Because the expensive part is really expensive.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there are a couple of thoughts here. One, I think it's totally reasonable to change it. Two, you're probably about to get a pay raise. And three, there's a way you can still get gifts for people if that's how you like to celebrate and not have it be, you know, cranked to the maximum for expense. So plus, I mean, was that effective as a celebration? Did that let you like I said, live that moment and acknowledge what you've done?
Not as much as I would like.
Okay.
So it was great for a couple of minutes, but it was not something I would look back on after a day, basically.
Okay. Well, I think something I'd like to recommend, and this is based on what we've talked about here, is uh, try to combine this with something where they know it's a celebration. And maybe they did.
Mhm.
You said like, "Hey, I launched an app, so I want to get you a gift," but more like, you know, hey, I want to talk about what it was like, or somehow
Mhm.
it's like if you get together for a birthday party, it's not like, oh, hey, happy birthday, and then you just move on. There's usually, like, at least here, there's some singing, there's like a cake,
Yeah.
there's a ritual around it, and I think that is what will cement in your mind that, like, hey, I did these things, and then when you look
Mhm.
back, you can think, well, look, there were those celebrations. I got a massage for the first time, so now it seals in your head that, like, I did a good thing and I got rewarded for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I've jumped all over the place here, and also let me just check. Yeah. All right, we got about, I think, a little over 15 minutes left. Why don't you catch me up with what you want to catch me up on, because I know you've written a lot of notes and I bounced all over. So, what do you want to
Uh,
talk about next?
oh boy. Uh, So I have one random question, which is basically a yes or no question.
Yeah.
I have the exam I have to take before the next session we would have.
Hmm.
The SC is a virtual meeting, which is basically about 4 hours long, where I have to uh, role play the leader for a criticism talk meeting with an employee, which is all virtual. And I would want to ask you, do you mind this white background, or should I switch it out?
So, this is something you and I talked about a little bit, which is what's personal, what's impersonal.
Yeah,
I am not a good judge of this stuff, and I think, chat, you should definitely chime in right now and give Peter some advice. What do you think for a 4 hour long, professional meeting? Should there be a
yeah.
white wall? Should it be something else? Should it be blurred? Uh, maybe I think putting up the lettering like twitch.tv/Adam Learns Live, I think that could be good.
Great.
So yeah, I don't know. And
Yeah.
before you asked the question, I hadn't scrolled down yet, and you're like, I have a black and white question. I thought, no, Peter, you can't ask those questions. I want to ask, did you put some thought into realizing when you're asking those kinds of questions to colleagues, the yes
Yes,
or no?
I did.
Okay.
So there is, I have a friend of mine which is Germanist. I don't know how to translate this. Basically, had studied German
Hmm.
for their career, and I asked them if there are some trigger words to identify those, and we figured out together that no, there are no such trigger words. But I have been reflecting over it before I asked my questions. Hence, I was able to tell you that it's a black or white questions.
So yeah.
Uh,
And I
yeah.
wasn't sure if that was coming from the need to translate from German to English first, because you said you don't do it as much with me, but presumably over there you're
Yeah.
talking mostly in German, I'm guessing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
that's good.
it's I'm still working on it. It's not perfect yet, but I am able to reflect before saying the questions. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. Now I'm not gonna push this and be like, how do we celebrate this? I think for at least the major things, like you launched an app, that's huge. You've been working on it for
Yeah.
a while. You became a leader at this company, that's huge. Like these things at least you need to do. Now, ideally, it's like asking yes or no questions, and you think, hey, I did something, medium sized. I still should do something nice for that. And yeah. Anyway, can be lots
Yeah.
of different things. Yeah. So, okay, what else did you want to talk about here? And I'm not trying to rush through this. I just want to make sure that we can talk about the things you want to talk about.
So we covered the big topics I wanted to present. I am working on stress management. I noticed you have written down how's my gym streak, my push-up challenge going. I had to take one day off, which feels really annoying. And I know it's my my little emotional voice in my head. But I'm basically on a 13-day streak again, and I had a sick day basically, where I really wasn't able to complete one push-up. I wasn't really feeling it, and
Wait.
one
The
day off.
sick day is not your lapse in your streak, right?
Yeah, it is.
It is. Wait, that
It
is
is.
not something okay. So, imagine you.
I show you why I think about this in this way. I don't know if you can see this.
Yeah.
It's basically the app my friend made with a GitHub commit graph, and there's one singular piece missing.
That's true, but okay. I myself have had it as a like a tenet essentially to exercise 3 times a week for the last more than a decade. And my exceptions are when I'm sick, because I don't think it's good to push myself when I'm sick. And other exceptions like some emergency came up where you just really couldn't have predicted. So I'm also not tracking this in a graph where I can see that there's a hole in the graph now.
Yeah.
So in my mind, at least, I would say you're on a whatever 30-day streak or something. Just a different way of contextualizing it, so it doesn't feel like I failed at this, or those are the ways that I think being easier on yourself are good. You can never go undo that graph, but you know the person who made the app. Actually, maybe you could say, hey, could I have a sick
Maybe,
day? Feature request from some guy on the internet. Yeah, so tell me about this stress book.
It's an audiobook I heard. I didn't find an English translation for this. This is an ChatGPT translation. And basically it was a book where someone was pretty new in leadership position. And I figured this book could match me. And they went through a lot of stress, basically with too many meetings, struggling with upper management, and conveying what their decision were, and basically providing 7 ideas and methods to focus on your stress and finding some way of relieving it, from breathing techniques over meditation towards doing sports. 7 techniques, and I'm trying to incorporate them, especially towards the evening, and I think they are helping, but I think the routine is missing yet to be sure if this is really working or not.
Yeah. How much of the book have you completed?
100%.
Okay, yeah.
8 hours, if someone is wondering.
Yeah. So I think, look, on the surface, this is great. I think it's good that you're looking into stress management. I think it's especially good that this book speaks to you. It's someone who is in a leadership position. It's exactly what you're doing. You haven't mentioned too many struggles with upper management. You said, oh, I disagree with their decision that this is the thing we should pursue. So, okay, this is very relevant to you. It's got some ideas. I want to say the same sort of thing I said when you talked about marketing your app, which is there's only so much time in the day and you only have so much energy and you're doing a lot. So cutting out your stress, in my mind, is a high priority kind of thing. Like you could cut out something else and it would be worthwhile to your time, right? Whereas if you say, I'm going to play more video games or something and I'm already playing 4 hours, it might not be as worthwhile. So yeah, as long as you're keeping an eye on that, I think this is good. I'd like to hear how this goes for you. You mentioned doing sports. You mentioned you wanted to go climbing. You mentioned you've been doing your streak for a while still. So does that factor into this too? Did that play into the celebration idea?
No. So the climbing part and the stress relief book are completely separate in my mind. The climbing part is something I really liked to do a few years back, and I want to find if I still like it. And the stress management is something that helps me prioritize myself over work.
Yeah.
It helps me calm down after a stressful day, and
Yeah. So so I live in a massive tech area in Washington State, and I have seen a pattern. People who get high enough up in a company, stress management is so much more important than the, quote unquote average person. And it's because every decision you make is more impactful. You have more people looking to you, more people relying on you, and it doesn't decrease it anymore. You are likely to rise, especially because your goal is to become a CTO eventually. That will only increase. And so as much as you can, pay attention to what's working here and try to find strategies that you can continue to use and really work into your day, because I do think it's important. And I think these are the kinds of things, it's like your posture. If you think about it, the way that you sit, the way you stand, the way you eat, these are all things that you've done probably for most of your life now without ever thinking about it. And that if you wanted to change it, would probably take you months or years of dedicated effort. So yeah, the more you can chip away at that now, I think the better. So I wish you luck. And by the way, climbing might not be something you linked to the stress management book, but it might be something that's helpful. And maybe it's something you say, you know what, I'm really stressed out from work. I'm going to go climb for an hour or an hour and a half. And yeah, clears your mind. So I wish you luck on that. I think that's really good.
Thanks. Yeah.
All right, the app. I do want to make sure we have some time to talk about this, because you did release it. How did things go? How do you feel?
I released it, and I really like this, especially the comments I got on the Discord. I posted it on Discord and on Twitter, basically, and the responses were great. I now know that I don't have any users using the app currently, but it's not as annoying as I thought it would. I basically have a new project in mind, and I'm currently working on the next project. As I mentioned, the programming in the evening is something I use to get off my mind, or get my mind off work. And basically, I needed a new project, and I'm currently working on the next project immediately. It's the first app. I got connected to a designer, which basically did an UI overhaul for free for the first app I did, and it's pretty amazing to see how far I got. So basically, comparing the two screens from the new version and the old version. I will post some pictures on Discord, but it's pretty amazing to see.
Yeah. First, I think it's good. I would love to see them. I'm sure other people would like to see them too. You said it was amazing to see how far you got. Are you talking about to see how good the new design looks over the old one?
This too, but also understanding the framework, and I know what the code of the old app looks like, and I completely throwing this out of the window and basically redoing the app one more time, and comparing basically the source codes of those is amazing to see.
Yeah.
But yes, obviously the design is something else.
No, that's good. You responded in a way that I was going to steer you toward if you hadn't, which is the whole looking back thing. I think it's important to see that, because I sometimes look back and I think, wow, I did something really stupid in the past. And originally I would feel sort of embarrassed that I would do something so stupid. And then I started thinking about it in terms of that event helped me grow, and that I wouldn't be the person I am today without that. And so if you don't look back and see your old code and think, I don't know, this is bad, or I've learned a new technique or something like that, then you probably haven't grown too much in that time, or you haven't learned to identify that. And there is a ceiling you eventually probably hit with coding or with any skill where you can't look back and do that. But I think it's good that you did that. I also think it's good you're excited about this. It's sort of funny that you said, I just, pretty much moved on to the next project. And yet it's not that it's unhealthy to move from project to project. I think it's unhealthy to not look at anything you've done or celebrate those successes. So you sound excited. I think this is good. I also want to comment on the no users bit. I think there can be many motivations for making an app, and you mentioned some of them. You want to keep your technical skills sharp. You might want the app yourself just to use. And you had talked about marketing last time, and I'm glad you didn't respond the other way here, which is I don't have users and I need to have users, because this is the next level of success for me. So are you feeling okay about that though?
Yes. But looking on my new project, I think I would run into the same issue before launch. It's some way along the lines. I'm so invested into this project. I would love to see users in this app, and basically to have the world see what I have done, and basically be able to use my app. And if I find something else to work on afterwards as fast as I did then, as I did now, I don't think it really matters if I have users or not.
Okay. This is this is I think a bit risky. So uh there's a grieving process. So like, let's say you lost someone that you love, or even a pet or something
Yeah.
like that, that if you don't go through that process, I think it can leave you with these lingering feelings that compound into something bad. I hope that you're not masking any feelings of dismay, dejection, anything with, hey, there's a shiny new project, so I just moved on and I really haven't processed it or something like that. And yet at the same time, I don't want you going full throttle saying, well, I need users for this app because that's the only way I'll feel complete with this. So how is that balance in your mind?
I think I tend towards leaning wanting to the new shiny object because I couldn't get users in my app. I would love to not care about basically if the world sees my app or not. But I do tend to care about this. Yeah, basically, I think you analyzed it right. I tend to use new project in disguise of failing my other projects.
I see. Um, I, I think, okay, I think this involves going back to what the goals are for a project. And okay, I don't know how long it's going to take to talk about this, but every once in a while, I'll come up with a flowchart plan. So, for example, my wife and I make financial decisions that are speculative. So maybe in 5 years something pans out, maybe it doesn't pan out in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so we come up with a flowchart of, well, if it pans out, here's what we do, and if it doesn't, here's what we do. And that plan is not set in stone, so we could go and change it. But when 5 years happens, it at least tells us here's what we were thinking back then. I
Mm-hmm.
wonder if you were to state your goals for a given project before you've started it. And that way, once you're in this position where you're like, well, now I have the design, I've done this code, I'm really excited about it, and the world deserves to see this. They have to. I need to get users for this. If you go and look back and you say, my goals were to learn X, to have this product to use for myself, to make $100 a month or something like that, then you could say, wait a second, this is that part of my brain just saying we need something bigger,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe convince yourself using your own words from the past to do it. So I wonder if you can separate now what your original goals are from the sort of shiny glory, those sorts of goals. Can you kind of talk about that a little bit right now?
I think I know what the original goals of my first app version was, which should be the same as trying to basically it should be the same goals I have now with the same app, with a new design basically,
Mm-hmm.
which are I would love to have a niche group using the app without making money for it. I obviously it would be nice to have money, obviously, but I'm more focused on finding someone who loves the app and basically making someone happy by providing this app.
Okay, so this is a much more reasonable goal for someone who's working on this as a side project, who has a demanding job and who has a bunch of other things going on in their life. And I think you can achieve this. So I write this down. When your app is released or finished, and maybe I should say if, because you can always change plans. But let's say you release this app. I think finding that niche group is not so much about how do I market to the entire world? How do I get 100,000 users? How do I make money every month? It's much more targeted, and is something that I think is achievable in the course of, let's say, weeks or months rather than years. So you don't need
Yeah.
a business degree. You don't need to go learn a bunch about marketing. And so, okay, I will star this for the next time that I talk about this. I want to say, I think this is a good goal after releasing, and it shouldn't take like too many months, I'll just say.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, and we'll talk about that some more. All right. I want to ask the same, kind of ending question that I ask all the time, which is,
Yeah.
how do you feel in general?
Great. I love this session. I was really looking forward to basically telling you the news. And I think those regular scheduled sessions help me visualize what I have achieved in basically one month.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
lot has happened. Really lot has happened, and yeah, I love looking back, analyzing stuff I wouldn't think about, and I think you have a unique perspective on things. Uh, and you are quite good at analyzing me and finding out what my deeper ambitions are.
Yeah, well, look, I'm glad. I enjoy the sessions too. I know I'm saying this to the 3 mentees that I have, but you're all unique from one another despite all being in software. You want different things. And also, I want to ask you something else that's kind of unrelated, but what did you think of Rami's climbing project that he did for the Code Jam?
I really liked this idea. I admit I'm not sure if there's a market for it. I know he talked about making maybe a business around this, but I think it's so niche of a project that there has to be someone that wants this product. And coming out of the code jam, basically, it's a really neat idea.
Yeah, yeah. So I think so too. And I think, one of the things he mentioned, he said being Dutch, everyone's very blunt and straightforward. So I'm sure he'll take your feedback in a good way. Thank you very much for being here. I am
Thank
gonna
you.
probably, I don't know if you heard, I'm gonna probably put these videos on a different channel starting from now
Mhm.
on because I just want them separate from the main channel. But thank you,
No
Peter.
worries.
Yeah.
I thank you. And yeah, next time, hopefully with big news.
Yeah. No, I'm sure you will have big news. All right. Well, take care. Have a good rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Let's switch back to here. All right. Bravo, Peter. Good job. Thank you for being on the show. I will show chat now. Yeah, unfortunately on YouTube, I don't have a Discord link showing up. I can share it in here though. Yeah, rebound projects. Yeah, it isn't easy to do this in front of the world. I feel like all of the mentees so far have seemed pretty comfortable, even in their first sessions. So I applaud them for that too. This is not easy. I've been in those situations where I'm like, I've prepared, a speech or something like that, and I'm fine. And then all of a sudden, it's time for me to go up to the stage, and I think I'm not fine anymore. So everyone's been doing a great job. How many mods on Twitch do I have? I'm not sure. It's a lot. I used to mod people just based on kind of helpfulness in the channel, and then they still are helpful. But yeah, some people, it's not like I have high expectations out of moderators now of like, keep a tight grip on chat, those sorts of things. I'm lucky to have a coach once per week, and I wouldn't want to share some of them. Yeah. I know what you're saying. And I think that's what's tough about these sessions. I think you can't make progress unless you share enough about what happened, and what happened can be very personal. No, I wasn't going to say they're less helpful now. YouTube blocked that URL from appearing. Interesting. Okay, well, anyway, if you go to a.bot.land, I snapped this key off my keyboard like during the session. I think I broke this, but I can't even. Let me see if I can fix this, because then I can type the link into chat. I guess I can. Oh, you said it doesn't work. Anyway, a.bot.land. If you can go there, then you should be able to just type in Discord there. Adam did a rage quit during my session. Adam deleted his keyboard. I can't really easily show this, but there are 2 prongs on this switch, and one of them got split in half somehow. And I can't pry it out with my finger. I bought a bunch of backup switches, so I'll just get one of those, I guess. No, it's not a letter that I broke. It's like a layer key, so I can't type any numbers now, and I can't make a new tab, not easily at least. I mentor a couple of my reports who've shown interest. Everyone involved gets a lot out of the sessions. Yeah. It's very insightful, I think, for both parties. And I was watching another Twitch streamer the other day who's in software and game development, and they said something like, everyone should be a mentor. You have something to teach. All you really need to do is match the other person's communication style. And I think it's true that everyone has something to teach. I think that people probably underestimate what they have to share. And it doesn't take much. It's like if you've done something, then you probably have something to share. You don't necessarily have the best way of doing that thing. And so it's like, let's say you made a company and that company is successful. That doesn't make you an authority on here's how I make successful companies. You could have been just lucky. You could have, but whatever, you still have something to share. You can still say, here's what I did. And then by sharing that, other people can determine for themselves, okay, was this something that's repeatable? I'm only here to mute chat during jump time. Any recommendations for a starter Mac keyboard that's ergonomic like the Sculpt? I didn't use too many different keyboards. I think, what's the company called? I keep trying to make a new tab and I can't. ZSA, I think is the company. Yeah. ZSA makes some good keyboards. I think all of these are pretty good. Moonlander, Ergodox, their Voyager that they have. Yeah, I think those are the only keyboards they have. But those are good suggestions, but they're all very expensive. Yeah. Oh, you can type /mods to see all of them? Okay, I have a lot of moderators. I mean, a couple of these aren't real mods, right? Like my bot, the other bot that I have. Yeah. All right, well, I think this has been a great morning. Yeah, .gg/Adam Lyons in the Discord. Yep. Could relate to him a lot, getting ready to release my app to more people. Yeah. That's what I'd hope for out of the mentoring sessions, which is that people would have struggles that other people could relate to and share information or just gain something from these mentoring sessions. Because if I were to just do mentoring, I think I could probably do, let's say, like 3 hours per day or something. If I were to just do mentoring, I think there's a limit to that. And it requires a certain amount of empathy that you essentially run out of after some time. And so that gives you what number of impact, like 3 mentees per day, 15 per week. If you're lucky, you get to do that. But by broadcasting the sessions, I felt like, I could reach a lot more people. All right, I've got to get going. I've got to go eat lunch. So I hope you've all enjoyed. I want to link to Discord for anyone in Twitch who's here and wants to see it. In YouTube, apparently I can't just link links. I'll be back in a little over an hour, maybe about an hour, maybe a little under. I don't know. About an hour. We'll do the afternoon stream. It'll be about 3 hours. And then that's it until Wednesday. So if you want to watch a stream, today is the last chance you have until Wednesday because I'm going to be taking some time off. I've been doing quite a lot. But I hope you've enjoyed watching. Thank you very much and see you next time.